Hey there. So in this episode, we're going to talk about three simple things to do to really help calm the nervous system down or, really release the contraction from the nervous system. And I'm going to kind of just talk about three things that I do. And this is part of my pretty normal practice and, potentially something you can consider, obviously, in your own practice. So this comes just from a Q&A, a question that was sent in. And if you have any questions that you'd like us to consider for future episodes, just look in the links below and you can submit a question free and it takes like just a minute or so, and then we'll review it and consider it for a future episode. Real quick, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt. I'm the founder of Restored Minds and the creator of the AAA Response. And if you're looking for help with OCD and anxiety, please check out the links down in the notes. We have some great resources for you to get started, or head over to Restored Minds. And wherever you're joining us from, please show your support by liking, subscribing, or leaving a nice comment or review as well. So let's dive in. So the first thing that I do for just my own kind of emotional and psychological well-being is cold exposure. And so cold exposure, this was kind of made popular, at least to my knowledge, by Wim Hof and the Wim Hof method. Definitely something that I have integrated into my own life, as well as his breathing. And we'll talk about that as the second thing. But really with cold exposure, one of the things that I find so beneficial about it, I mean, obviously there's a lot of benefits like, the decreased inflammation and, I think, sleep. And I think there's several, like there's a lot of health benefits from it. But the main thing that I think it does for OCD and anxiety and emotions is it gets you to the place where you are moving towards physical discomfort and sitting with discomfort and becoming comfortable being uncomfortable. And one of the biggest challenges people have with OCD and anxiety is their ability to sit with uncomfortable sensations in their body. And because there's so much resistance to them, they end up engaging in a lot of safety behaviors and compulsions that end up feeding these wheels. So cold exposure is a method where you are choosing to engage in and put yourself in an environment that is uncomfortable, right? And there's going to be a big psychological battle, especially if you do it consistently, on whether or not to do it. And this can be a simple cold shower. I kind of vary between a cold exposure, tank and the ocean. And so I kind of mix up and I would lie to say if I'm saying I do it every single day, because I don't, but it's definitely a regular part of my weekly practice. So more days than not, I'm doing cold exposure, and it also depends on traveling and things like that. So that's number one, would be cold exposure. Number two is breath work. And so when you understand that when you carry a lot of emotion in your nervous system and you are essentially holding on to it, this is why letting go of it is so important and learning to really do that. The contraction, one of the things that I found really helps with that is breath work. And so the two types of breath work that I generally practice are, number one would be to go hand in hand with the Wim Hof method. And I've gone through his breathing process, and you can Google it and YouTube it and all that. And you can check out his book. And again, I'm not recommending that you do this, right? And obviously consult your physician or doctor, if you want to integrate something in your life to make sure that your body's in a place where this is a good idea for you, right? I'm telling you, this is just kind of what I do. But to learn about it, he has a book that you can check out, and I think he has some great resources online. And so then the other would be pranic breathing. And so those two breathing techniques tend to be what I use the most. And breath work really just helps with that, again, that expansion. And then it has a tendency, for me anyway, to just bring up a lot of sensation in the body, to where you can really do some more letting go process and really connect and feel, and release a lot of emotion. So, along with the breath work, like I said, number three would really be like the intentional letting go process, made popular by Dr. David Hawkins in his book, Letting Go. Also Sedona method. And, there's a ton of people that have taught similar things, whether it's Eckhart Tolle or Michael Singer, right? But really just the ability to connect with and be present with sensations in the body. And so these are really the three things that I would say I do the most in just my own mental and emotional health process, where I have very intentional time set aside to do all of these activities. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I do them all back to back to back, but I may do cold exposure, and then I may do some breath work, and then I may do, some just pure like letting go, intentional sessions. And obviously we go in depth into this in TBC and really teach kind of how to do this, but this is stuff to really take care of the nervous system and make sure that, I'm doing the stuff to take care of myself emotionally. And so that's, those are the three main processes that I would say I use. And, obviously the Wim Hof stuff, you could check out some of his stuff. Pranic breathing has a bunch of stuff out there as well as letting go. So those are kind of the main just day-to-day practices that I use. And so hope that was helpful. And I just want to say shout out and thank you for sending that question in, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey there. So if you enjoyed that video, we've linked up a few more videos that we think you'd find helpful as well. And if you have found this helpful, we'd really appreciate your support by liking and subscribing. And if you're looking for help and guidance, please check out restoredminds.com, as we have several options for you to get started. See you guys soon.